Okay, I'm Bel Parsley and I'm a learning development facilitator, and I work here at the Learning Hub for Bonaccord Care. My specific role is a health, safety and wellbeing lead, which means I work a lot with the facilities manager, looking at the health and safety, risk assessing and how we deliver that into training for our staff teams within Bonaccord Care. The good parts of my job, I think, for me is I get to share my experiences and skills that I've gained over the last 30 odd years and support other people. So new people coming straight into health and social care, I get to, share all the experiences that I have. My career has spanned over 36 years working in health and social care, ranging from childcare to learning disabilities, mental health and care of the elderly, into management and laterally learning and development. So I started off at school not having a great time, not really enjoying it, and had the opportunity to do some work experience, and then from that went to a YTS, which, if you don't know what that is a youth training scheme which came out in the late 80s and was a government scheme to support people into work. It was a 2-year course which was kind of blended learning from college a few days a week and also working in a placement. And my placement was in a residential care home for over 65s, which was quite different to the care homes that you have nowadays, but it's still really, really enjoyable. I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, because it was a kind of government scheme, there wasn't a job guarantee at the end of it or anything like that, and I cried my heart out when I had to leave, and then I had to go and decide what I wanted to do. And because we did a qualification in human development, which covered infancy to old age, I decided that I would quite like to work with children, and I went and did a year's course in childcare, which then led to me signing up with an agency, which was quite a prestige agency, so I was really quite lucky to get through that, and worked with royal appointment, which meant I was checked by the government to make sure that I was who I said I was, and had a post with some lovely people who will remain nameless, and from that led to friends of theirs looking for a nanny, and I went to Long Island, New York for a year and worked extremely hard, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, sole charge of 3 children. So when after I came home from there, I continued my career working with children, so working in playgroup, and then into early intervention in primary school, to working in the classroom, doing some learning support. And then from there decided that I would perhaps go to university and be a nurse, which was a great idea, but by that time had 2 small children and was a single mum, worked night shift in a care home and went to university through the day. So you can imagine, I'm not superwoman, so I wasn't able to sustain that for over a year, and had to unfortunately drop out of university, but looked at how can I progress my career without that university degree, and started working and continued to work in the care home, night shift, and sort of did clinical skills and every training course that I could get my hands on, basically, to try and progress my career that way. And then went to work in residential care as a senior support worker, and from then I progressed to an assistant manager and then to a manager, which was probably over about a 10-year period, but still managed to reach the goal that I wanted to get. My goal was always to manage a care home. However, a manager in a care home is an extremely stressful job, and as much as you love it, it is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't switch off. From there, I kind of went sideways and worked in community mental health and also with learning disabilities, which again is a different approach, which is great fun. but still got a little bit itchy feet and decided, what can I do now? And came over to Bonaccord Care. So started with Bonaccord Care as a customer care coordinator, which turned out not to be the job I really thought it was, and it was more about planning care, and sitting at a computer all day, which just wasn't me. So luckily, after a conversation with managers at Bonaccord Care, I was offered a position as a senior personal carer. It was at that time within Care at Home, which was fab, absolutely loved it. And then was asked to support with the providers of last resort situation that we had as well, which again was great, but extremely stressful. So after that is when I came over to learning and development, and I've been here for 3 years. So delivery and training is obviously the main role there. So I deliver moving and handling, first aid, health and safety, dementia. The list goes on. I think I enjoy the practical training more than some of the theory-based stuff. I like to be hands-on and training people. I also do SVQs. So I'm an SVQ assessor. Now my most favourite job, so probably my worst day, is sitting at the computer assessing SVQ, and just because it is just sitting at the computer and reading and assessing. But I also totally understand the benefits of the SVQ process, and it's huge on that aspect. But for me, I much prefer being hands-on and delivering training and facilitating courses. We also do a bit of development work as well, so we are involved with the development of new courses, which I love as well. So we work a lot with managers, looking at the strategies and things like that as well, to the organisational side of it, and what's coming up, what we need to start developing as well, which is really interesting as well. If I was speaking to a young person who wanted to get into health and social care, I would 100% encourage that. There's so many career pathways out there and so many different ways to get to where you want to be. I have 2 daughters, both work in healthcare. One went straight from school to university and is a mental health nurse. The other one tried various different things before and then has now gone back to university and to be an occupational therapist. So that's just 2 examples. And then there's also, the health and social care pathway as well. It can open so many doors into so many great careers.